Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. Cindy here from CLB Craft Creations with another card project for you in the holiday card series. This is the card we're going to be making today. It is not my idea. I found this on Pinterest. I actually saw it several times on Pinterest. So to give one person credit would be difficult because I'm not quite sure whose idea it really was. I did change up just a couple of things, but it's really, for the most part, it's the same card. But it's using one of my all-time favorite stamp sets, which from last season, you'll remember, was the Christmas Pine set, and we're using the coordinating framelits with that as well. And so let's go ahead and get started. Our card base is a piece of Very Vanilla, cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 to make a standard 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. We have a piece of Cherry Cobbler, which is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then our top layer is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. All the measurements and supplies will all be listed on my website, so you can go ahead and hop on over there. I'm going to take some chocolate chip ink and a sponge, and I'm just going to sponge, just kind of sponge the edges, just to kind of give it a little bit of old world dimension. Definitely make it pop a little bit on the paper. This is optional, but I really think it makes it does make it stand out a little bit on the Cherry Cobbler. And you can bring it in as much as you want, or as little. I just wanted a little bit there. I'm gonna take you out just a little bit. I can see my work surface a little bit better. We're gonna use Garden Green. Now I did just re-ink this, so I'm hoping that it's not gonna be too juicy for our images. I'm just gonna take the fuller image from the Christmas Pines, and I'm gonna just do it right here over to the left-hand side. I'm gonna stamp that going up and down. Very, very juicy. It is way dark. It will lighten up a little bit, but this is a little bit darker than I actually wanted it. As you can see from my original, how much lighter that is. That's because my ink pad was really dry. Okay, and now I'm just gonna flip this, and I'm gonna do from top to bottom. And I'm gonna overlap that in the center because we're gonna do a little embellishment in the center, and that's going to cover up in the center, so you don't have to worry about that being all jumbled up there. Okay, so that is the Garden Green done. And all right, so I'm going to use the sentiment from, I forgot while I had the chocolate chip out, I'm going to use the sentiment from that set and Cherry Cobbler ink. I went ahead and already punched out my label from Very Vanilla. It's the and I'm using the new label punch. I went ahead and already stamped that or punched it out. And again, I'm going to use Cherry Cobbler, and because this is a photopolymer stamp set, I can see right through it, and I can make sure that I center that up nicely, preferably without my head in there. Okay. And that actually is looking now like I need to re-ink that. I tell you, these Christmas cards are definitely using up my supplies. We can actually go ahead and attach our Cherry Cobbler piece just with regular adhesive, nothing fancy. Just center that on the front of the card. Okay, and now I've got this piece. Now I went ahead and die cut my my pieces already. So the pine cones, I'm using the little overlays in Very Vanilla, and then I've got the little, I don't know what these are, the berries, the berry branches in Early Espresso. And then I've got to find my other Here we go. And then I've got the bases to my pine cones. Now I'm going to use just a 2A glue pen, this blue Zig 2A glue pen. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of glue just up here to the top, because I actually want it to be a little bit freer. I don't want the whole thing stuck down. And so I'm just adding just a few little drops of the glue to the top. And then I'm going to line that up right on top of my pine cone base. Just kind of squeeze that a little bit. And then I'm just going to set that aside for a second while I work on the other one. Again, just going to put some. Now you can attach the whole thing. Again, I just wanted it to feel a little freer, a little looser. It's definitely up to you how you want to do that. Again, just line that up at the top. Give it a little squeeze. Now I'm going to take my chocolate chip and my sponge, and while I've got that out, I will go ahead and just actually, I'm going to sponge this. Do both of those. Just to kind of, again, give them a little bit of pop. And then I'm going to take my tag as well, and I'm going to give that a little. Okay, so that's all of that. We're actually done with all of our stamping now. And so the other little treatment that I'm doing on my berries, I've actually colored some rhinestones. And what I did is I took my my Stampin' Blend marker, this is the Cherry Cobbler, and I just colored my rhinestones and I let them sit to dry. Because these are alcohol-based markers, they're permanent basically, unless you use rubbing alcohol to remove them. But you can color on the rhinestone, so it colors the rhinestones. So just a little tip for you. I have done that in the past. You can use Sharpies, Copics, whatever alcohol-based marker you might have. Water-based markers do not work. So just an FYI on that. But you do want to let them sit and dry because they will make a mess. Okay, so now what I need to do is take some of the linen thread, and I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive here in the back for it to attach to. And I'm just going to kind of crisscross this, so I'll start it here in the back. And I'm just kind of crossing it in the center there. I get my scissors. Don't know that that's going to catch. Okay. I'm just going to move that over a little bit. Okay, so now I can actually go ahead and add this to my card now that I've actually added my thread. Okay. And that's just going to go centered. Moved on me. Okay, now what I will do is I'm going to attach, I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on the back of this, just on the one side, and I'm going to attach it to this other pine cone. So those are just attached that way. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals. I've got both the mini dimensionals, which I absolutely love, as well as the regular size. For this, you could actually probably just use the full size one. So I'm going to put one on each of the pine cones so that they're nice and popped up. And then those are going to go right there. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and just attach those. So we'll put those right there towards the center. And now I've got these little guys, which I'm going to add my colored rhinestones to. Find my tweezers. And I'm going to just show you real quick. So I'm just going to slide one of these off. Hopefully. And then I'm just going to put it on the tip. And then I'm going to do that on all of them. So let's see if you can actually see. Show you that. So now I've got my pretty rhinestone. So I'm going to go ahead and put all those on, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I've gone ahead and added all my little rhinestones to my little branches here, and then I just applied a glue dot, and I just stuck them right underneath there. Now I've got my tag, and I'm going to go ahead and put that, a dimensional on the back of that as well. I can find them. Here they are. So I'm just going to put one dimensional on the back, and gonna add that to the front of my card. So I'm just gonna kind of tuck that at an angle right there. I have a bow that it's a double loop bow that I tied with the linen thread. I'm gonna just add that with a glue dot. Just kind of roll that up a little, add that to the center. And then I'm gonna add that right there to my little pine cones. And then I have one more rhinestone that I'm going to add to the corner right here. And one final thing, which of course is optional, is just going to take some Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to brush it across my little pine cones, just to give it a little bit more sparkle and shine. This card will actually go in the mail. What I would recommend though is to just cut a piece of cardstock to put over top, since these little rhinestones are in there, so that it doesn't actually puncture your envelope. And there you go. There is my finished card project. I love the way that this turned out. I wish it was my idea, but as I said, it's not. But I do absolutely love this set and love the things that you can do with it. So there's another card project for you. I hope that you liked it. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.